You have spent a ton of energy prepping, planning, posting signs, and hosting a successful open house. You've got some leads, but now what? Stay tuned for some best practices on your open house follow-up. What's happening? J.C Agajanian here, broker associate with the Whissel Realty Group here at EXP in San Diego, and we're talking about open house follow-up today. It is a chore to do a good open house, especially to do it right. But let's skip all the things that should go into it and fast forward to the good stuff. You're having conversations with people, you're actually getting them to sign in and register, and you're generating leads. Well, before we get into the actual follow-up part of the open house, let's make it clear that our intentions is to take advantage of the opportunity we have being face-to-face with a prospective client. We want to do all we can to build rapport, get to know them, be friendly. We're just trying to make friends, and you're looking to meet some new people, right? That's the same mentality. You want to be professional, you want to be able to provide education and knowledge on not only that home, but the neighborhood that you're standing in, but you also want to make friends and meet people that might want to do something in the near future. If and when you do that, the goal should be to book that appointment right then and there. Forget about the follow-up, forget about the fact that you had them sign in to your system, but just try and book something. Hey, this property works for you, this property doesn't work for you, whatever the case, make it work for them and come up with a reason why you're going to help them with whatever they're trying to do, and set up a time to do that. Meet face to face. Let's carry this conversation further right here and go. Now, that isn't always an opportunity, but when it is, it's the best case scenario. Another great opportunity, especially if you have some sort of open house support, is to be prepared with a list of very similar homes that are actually live and on the market right then and there, so that if that property might not meet their needs for one reason or another, you can review the list and say, you know what, this one and this one and this one actually have pretty good potential based on what you've told me. Do you want to shoot over there right now? I know these two have open houses and this one's vacant. I can show it to you. Leave your support person at the open house and go do it. If that's not an option, set it up for immediately after the open house. You want to stay sticky to these people, and there's no time like the present. One of the things that you should be keeping in mind when you're having these conversations, when you're discovering what their motivation is, when you're learning about what it is that they're looking for, is to come up with something that you can offer them that other people will not. That's always going to be the most compelling reason they want to meet with you. And a lot of times that looks like off-market properties. It's not always the case though. Sometimes what they need is information. Maybe you can be a resource for market data, like average market times in that specific niche that you're standing in right there, or how many properties there are available that suit their needs. You should be educated on this micro niche that you're showing, this property, this neighborhood that you're in, and be aware of all the intricate details of the numbers and statistics so that you can be the authority on the matter when they're talking to you about it. If you can not only drop stats, but maybe even add some color into some of the other properties that they've seen, maybe there's something similar in the area that's been on the market for a while, but you happen to know from talking to that agent or maybe other clients that the reason is the seller's not that motivated and they need X, Y, and Z to happen before they can sell. And you can educate this open house visitor that the reason that property hasn't sold is because of an extenuating circumstance with that seller, not necessarily because the market here in this neighborhood is slow or because there's something wrong with that home. Now, you've already demonstrated that you know more about what's going on in this area than that buyer could possibly know, and probably more than what most local agents have to offer as well. Assuming you haven't left the open house to show them another property, and you didn't get a chance to book that in-person meeting to carry the conversation further that Monday or Tuesday that's coming, there are fantastic follow-up techniques that you can use that will increase your connection rate once you get back into the office. One of the first things you can do is pull out your phone and just record a personalized clip, one for each person that has some sort of potential. It doesn't even have to be a guarantee this person's going to buy. But somebody who is actually considering making a move and not just a nosy neighbor who's curious about the property from down the street, send them something personal. Let them know you appreciated them coming through today. You'd love to take the conversation as brief as it was, further when you talk Monday or Tuesday or whatever the case may be. Maybe even ask them when would be a good time so that I'm not interrupting your day and we can actually chat a bit more. This is a great way to solidify the connection, however deep it went when they were here, so that you can carry that forward onto phone calls and hopefully into an in-person appointment. Again, let's assume it's been close to a week now, or maybe even 2 weeks, and you haven't been able to book that appointment with them, but it was just recently that you met them at that open house. Well, one great thing you can do is create a text template for people from that open house. You can say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, I noticed that we haven't been able to connect since we met at that open house, but guess what? There are 3 other homes that are pretty similar to the one you came and visited when we first met, and they're all open this weekend. Here you go. No need to research it. They're here for you. Let me know what you think of those ones. You're not asking for anything. You're just coming from contribution. You're adding value. You're educating them on properties that are going to be available, and they may or may not have already seen them, but at least now in one text message, they know when and where they're going to be, just making their lives easier. They will appreciate you for it. Carrying this thought process forward, we still haven't been able to get in front of them. It's now time to, obviously, regardless of what stage they fall in, if you're able to book that appointment right then and there, or if you need some further nurture, they ought to be in your database either way. And that should happen immediately right after the open house is concluded. And for these people that you haven't been able to get in front of yet, a week or 2 weeks after it, they should have been receiving phone calls and text messages throughout that time. And now it's time to nurture on them. If they came in through the internet, like with a pay-per-click ad, or if there was some sort of portal lead like Zillow Flex, whatever the case, it's now our job to reach out and reconnect so that we can find exactly what their timing and motivation is, offer something of value, and get in front of them to help them carry on this process and meet their goal of finding this next home. The key is the first couple scenarios, someone urgently motivated to get out and see a property right away, or someone even willing to book that face-to-face right then and there at the open house. Those are the exceptions to the rule. Overwhelmingly, these are going to be nurture leads as well, not necessarily as long tail as someone who maybe responded to a home value internet lead, right? Where that's definitely going to be 6 months to 2 years before they transact. But even these open house leads are going to take a while to convert, and they're going to be a little bit of a lower percentage. Like, you're probably going to be able to 1 in maybe 10 or 15 closed. So have the right expectations when you are sorting through these leads. Of course, it shouldn't change your follow-up activities, but just know that not all of them are going to be paychecks right away. One of the biggest things that's going to help you follow up appropriately is going back to that timing and motivation. We need to really drill down, make sure that we've had that question answered to your personal satisfaction, because it's going to completely change how you follow up with that person. One great line that frequently helps you get to pass the smoke screen into the bottom of what they're really trying to do is to say, listen, if I could wave a magic wand and just make this whole thing happen for you in a heartbeat, when would you actually love to see yourself in that new home, unpacking and getting that place made, and begin the transformation of a house into your next home? It's a great tool to help you understand exactly what their motivation is. It will also surface any sort of objection. Sometimes kids' school is an issue. Sometimes retiring on time is an issue. There's lots of things that can affect people's timeline. And using the magic wand line is a great way to cut through the crap and understand really where they're at. There's lots more that you can do, but we're going to stop it right there. Feel free to let me know if you've got questions specific to this topic, or if you'd like to chat further. I'm happy to take this conversation offline, and I look forward to talking to you soon.